So, for B on page 19, so you have 18 plus root 120 all over minus 8 plus root 30. Okay. 120. Let's have a look at each number here, and this is a 30. No, hang on. It's not going to work if you're talking.
So which question is this on page 19?
This is page 19.
Yeah.
V, for V. V, as in I'm very annoyed, right? V. Got it? Okay. So, looking at each of these, let's try and simplify it. So, 120, I could say, is 12 times 10, of course, and 12 is 4 times 3, or if you want, 2 times 2 times 3, and 10 is 2 times 5. So, this would be 18 plus a pair. That's actually the only pair, isn't it? So anyways, it works out as being 2 root 30. I'm not even going to bother with the 30 because I have already what I need. You know, the same type of surd. Root 30 and a root 30, which is fine. Like I know what 30 is going to be. It's going to be 3, 2, and 5, and I can't do anything with that. So I can just stop there. Multiply the top by minus 8 minus root 30 and the bottom by minus 8 minus root 30 also. Okay. I'm going to wait a few seconds while people take out their calculator so that they can do the calculation with me. Yes, you have your calculator? Okay. So firstly, 18 times 8, what's that going to be? 180 minus... Yeah, what is it?
144. No, wait. Yeah, 144.
Guys, please, you all have calculators in front of you. It should only take about 5 seconds for someone to give it to me. Shh. Yes?
Minus 144.
Thank you. Minus 144. Okay. And then 18 times that is that one. And then the next one is minus 16 root 30, and then, sorry, that's a 30 there. And then the last one here is minus 60.
Yep.
Because it's root 30 by root 30, which is 30, also by the 2, yep?
How did you get 144?
18 times 8. Okay, on the bottom, I'm going to cheat a little bit and take a little bit of a shortcut because I know the middle 2 terms will always cancel. So I'll just go do the first term and the last term. So 8 by 8 is 64, and then root 30 by root 30, minus 30. Okay, so on the top, I'll have minus 204, yes? Is that right? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And then on the bottom I'll have minus 34 root 30 all over 34. Now I'm willing to bet, although I might be wrong, that 34 goes into 204. Does it?
6 times.
6 times?
Minus 6.
Is it minus 6? Minus root 30. Okay, so I'll let you write that down there. That's it all there. Okay. Yeah? Okay. So when you have that taken down, if you go to page 21, and I will do 4W. 4W. Okay. We have y equals minus 2x squared minus 12x minus 19. First thing I'll do is take out that minus 2. So that becomes x squared. What would this be? Plus 6 actually, because you're dividing by minus 2. And then here, plus
19 over 2.
Very good. Now I'll do my normal complete the square trick. What's half of here? 3. So I get minus 2 x plus 3 squared. And then I do 19 over 2 minus this squared. So 19 over 2 minus 9 is 1 over 2?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. That minus the square of that. This minus the square of this. And then put the 2 back in. Minus 2. Well, in fact, actually, it's fine if you want to leave it like that. It might make it a bit easier for you. So here, what type of number is this? Minus 2 is negative. And then here, what type of number is this? Positive. And here? Positive. Okay. Positive plus positive? Positive. And then negative multiply positive? Negative. Okay. By the way, you know, when you get these types of questions in exams, please note, you know, it might be 2 or 3 marks or whatever, but you always get 1 mark for explaining why your answer here is always positive or negative, yeah?
Let's say I did the working of everything, but the answer was wrong. Will I still get marks?
Which part of the answer now, for example?
Let's say that where I changed the B part to half.
Yeah, like for example, if you got this wrong,
Yeah, but the first part.
but everything else is right, you should lose 1 mark in total. So you get the full marks minus 1. Because maybe you just, you know, put this in your calculator wrong and got the wrong answer here. Then that just lose 1 mark. Okay, so if you want to write that down there, if you need to write it down, that is. Of course, I've mixed them up now. I've misread the question. So what I actually did there, this is a bit like a question 5 that I actually did there. So this is like an example of number 5. Now I'll do something that's like number 4. You need me to go down?
Yeah.
Here? Yeah. You know it's on the bottom, it's just negative. Sorry about that, I mixed up the 2. Yeah?
Could you explain how is it half?
This half here?
Yeah.
It's 19 over 2 minus a squared. Do you have your calculator? Not yet?
Yeah, I have.
So 19 over 2 minus 3 squared. Okay. 9x squared plus 162x plus 735. So sorry, this is like number 4 now, a type of question number 4, where I'm asking for the maximum or the minimum. So firstly, what shape will this be? A U shape or a hill shape? A U shape. So am I looking for a max or a min? I'm looking for a minimum. Okay, what to do first? Divide by 9. 17? No, 18. Can you divide this by 9, please? 9, 10, 180, 18? What is it? 18. And then the last one, I don't know if 9 actually goes into that. I don't think so. 245 over 3? Great, okay. Now, what's the A here? 9. Okay. So you get 9, x plus 9 squared, and again, this minus 9 squared. So this number minus 81.
2 over 3.
Nice, 2 over 3. Thank you. Okay, and then multiplying in by the 9, I get 9, x plus 9 squared, and then 9 times 2 over 3? 6. So that's the y. And if you think back to the last class, which is here, max or min? Minimum. The minimum y is 6, yes? And what value of x do you need to make this? Minus 9. So the answer is the minimum point is at minus 9 and 6. Okay, you change the sign here and you keep this one here. That goes in there and that goes in there. Which one here? This, I've just, like I've said a couple of times now, I've mixed the two questions around. So this is like a number 4 question. I've just pulled the equation from number 5.
Like looking at the question and identifying it.
Yes, yes. As Hassan here will tell you, even though your teacher might say something a few times, you might not get it, right? You know what I'm talking about? Yesterday? Yeah.
Could you please explain the negative positive? Just
At the very end, is it? Yeah. The way these things work is that...
not this one.
Oh, sorry.
I want to prove negative one.
Oh, sorry, the previous one.
Yeah.
So which part?
Just the last one.
Okay, so this is your answer you got for y after you complete the square. And then you examine each part to see what type of number it is. So you look at the front and you say, okay, here's a minus 2, and minus 2 is a negative number. That's fine. Then you look at the next part. Here is a number which is squared. That must be positive because it's squared. And then you look at the last part. That's plus a half, which of course is positive because it's plus a half. Then you ask yourself, okay, what is a positive and a positive? If I add two positive numbers, like a 5 and a 2, whatever, it's still positive. And this negative here, still negative. And then you go to the last line, okay, what's a negative multiply a positive?
Negative.
It's a negative. So I've examined my answer and I've concluded that it's always going to be a negative number. So it doesn't matter what you put in for x, the answer will always be negative.
Scroll down a bit.
Scroll down a bit. How far? Here?
No,
For the next one, yeah. Here. Yep.
There, you divide everything by 2, yeah?
Where?
First,
Here.
yeah,
Divide everything by 9.
by 9.
Yeah.
And then what?
Oh, and then here, I took the 18 and divided by 2 to make 9. Yeah?
Then,
Huh?
and then,
And then? And then the last part is you take this minus the square of 9. So this minus 81 is 2 over 3. Yes?
Whether it's negative.
By looking at what's in front of the x squared, if it's positive or negative.
So if it's positive, it's
To you. Yes, Faisal?
Get that.
The y is always the number at the end. Shh. I'm going to be honest now. I'm tired of looking over to my left and seeing people talking. Okay, so if I have to do this again, I'm going to ask people to leave because it's starting to tire me now. So here, that goes in for the y position, and here that goes in to the x position here. But you just change the sign. It's there's no thinking involved. You just grab the number at the end, stick it in for y, take the number beside the x, stick it in, but change the sign as well. Okay. You have the video on Moodle if you want to watch the complete and the square one again. Okay. So that is like a number 4 example there from the worksheet. Okay. Now, if you go to the next page now, so now we'll do a little bit of a discussion on how to draw these a bit more accurately. Okay. So this is how to sketch. Now there's a couple of techniques for sketching. The first technique I'll show you is what you might call the backup technique, the emergency technique. Is what you do if you don't know what to do. It's the technique that works for all of these problems, but it's a very slow one. And that is, you make a table of values and you put the values on your graph and connect the dots. So what I mean by that is, suppose I ask you to draw y equals x squared. First, what you do is you make a table and you put in some values for x. So let's say, for example, x goes from -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3, as an example. Although you can choose any numbers you want. You take these numbers and you put them back in here. So y equals x squared. Okay, so what's -3 squared? 9. And then -2 squared? 4, 1, 0, 1, 4, and 9. You put all these x numbers in here to make the y. Okay? That was an easy one to do because the formula is quite small, but if this was a big formula, it will take you longer to do. But it's just the idea I'm showing you here. Then with your box, you can now draw your graph, 3 to -3, and then there can be 9, and there can be -9. So the first point is -3 and 9, second point is -2 and 4, next point is -1 and 1, and then 0 and 0, and you put your points on the graph, and then you connect them. And that's the shape of it. Okay, x, y. But you can already see, this could take a long time. And I'm only showing you because sometimes in the exam or whatever, people get confused, they forget how to draw something. This will give you at least half the marks if you try it this way, okay? It works. The problem, well, maybe you can tell me, what could be the problem with this? You calculate the numbers wrong would be one, yeah? What else?
It's not very accurate in between.
Yeah, might not be accurate in between the points. And also, this depends on me making a good choice for x at the beginning, -3 to 3. But, maybe you need to do -10 to 10, or maybe you need to do 10 to 20. You don't really know. Okay? So I don't recommend this, but I'm showing it to you so you have seen it anyways, okay? But we'll look at a different method now. So don't worry too much about that one. Okay, so the second example now. Yes. Sorry, let me get rid of this y here for the moment. The second example here is, before I draw it, I just want to show you how to solve these by using factorizing, which you've done a couple of days ago. So for this one here, I know I can write this as two factors. Okay. I need two numbers that add to 8. Did I write this? Oh, sorry. That's not an 8, that's a 14. I need two numbers that add to 14 and multiply to make 48.
6 and 8.
So x plus 6 and x plus 8. That's the factorizing. You remember doing that? This needs to equal 0, which actually, makes it a lot simpler. It basically means that x plus 6 equals 0, or x plus 8 equals 0. So x equals minus 6 and x equals minus 8. And using these numbers, it can help us to draw the quadratic, which I'll do in a few moments, okay? But this is solving a quadratic using factorizing. I will also show you another method. What do you think will be the next method I show you? I'll give you a clue. You did it in the last class. Did you do that in the last class?
Completing the square.
Completing the square, yes. So just take a quick note of that, please. Okay, I'll do completing the square, how to use completing the square to solve it, and then I'll show you how to do sketching using factorizing and completing the square. So completing the square now. X squared plus 10x plus 9 equals 0. Okay, what do I do first for completing the square? Half of 10, which is 5, and then 9 minus 5 squared. 9 minus 25? Minus 16. Now, what do you think happens next? What's next?
You get into the bracket.
No, definitely not.
The minimum point.
No.
You see
Remember, I'm trying to find x.
X
Six
equals
to
minus
the other
5.
side.
X
Huh?
minus 5.
Take 16 to the other side. So I get x plus 5 squared equals 16.
And the square root of which side?
Now square root of both sides. What's the square root of 16 here?
4.
4, but in fact you have to consider two possibilities, plus or minus 4. So then you get two answers. X equals minus 5 plus or minus 4. So if I do the plus, what's minus 5 plus 4? Minus 1. And what's minus 5 minus 4?
Minus 9.
Minus 9. Okay, so that's completing the square. That would be like 3a. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay. I'll go down a bit. Now, you've seen an example of how you can use factorizing to solve the quadratic. Pretty much once you factorize, what do? You say each part equals 0. So it's only one extra step. Completing the square, what would you say? Like 2 extra steps maybe, yeah?
The quadratic equation.
Say again? The formula.
Yeah.
That would be the next class. You actually need to use the completing the square for a very particular type of sketching, which I'll show you now. Okay. Right. I ask you, so here's our first proper sketch example. Draw this. Now, if you just think back for a moment, with the linear equations, how did you draw the linear equations? What did you do? What was the process involved?
We got the Y-intercept and the X.
You got the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay? So how do you find the y-intercept?
When X is 0.
When x is 0. And how do you find the x-intercept?
And
Y is 0. Do the exact same thing here for quadratic. So I start off by saying x equals 0. So what's y?
Y.
What is it? 9. So that's 1 point already.